And we are live. Hey, mystery and thriller fans. I'm your on-air host and author, Sara DiVello, and I am so excited to welcome back to Mystery and Thriller Mavens, librarian, book reviewer, host of Dueling Detectives, all the amazing things, one of my favorite people ever, Tabrizia Jones, here to give us the inside scoop on her top picks for spooky season. And this lady knows her way around spooky season. Tabrizia, welcome back.
Hi, Sarah. Hi, everyone. So glad to be back here.
Well, I'm so happy to have you back talking about our favorite thing, which is spooky season books. So, Tabrizia, I am dying to know. Lead us off. What are your favorite? What's on your spooky season best picks list this year?
Okay, so I did like a mixture of books that came out this year and also books that I read years ago, but I
Ooh.
still think that they're the best read for the Halloween season. So it could be I just like it was like a really good mixture of them. So I want to go with the first book, which is by far my favorite book of the year. I can't. This is a book I can't stop thinking about. It's The Last Murder at the End of the World by the wonderful Stuart Turton. So
Ooh.
Stuart Turton, if you don't know him, you should. He has written two previously good books. His debut novel, The Seven and a Half Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle, and The Devil in the Dark Water. So this is his latest thriller, and he does such a great job of just putting a mixture of speculative fiction and mystery. So you have this island where it's the end of the world, a dystopian world that we are encountering here, and then everyone is leaving peacefully, and on this island, this is just the last remains of humanity, and then all of a sudden, there's a murder that happens on this island. But not only there's a murder, this murder triggers the fog that killed everyone on the rest of the planet. So in order for this community to survive, they have to solve the murder so they can terminate the mechanism that is bringing the fog onto the island before it kills everyone. And they have like about like I want to like say a couple of like oh, it's not a long time. I forget how much time they were given, but it was just so innovative and inventive how this mystery is. It's just like I when I read this in 2023 because I got an advanced copy, and even though it came out this year, it is one of my favorite books still because it's a book that you cannot stop thinking about. I stayed up all night reading it because I just wanted to find out what was happening, and I was shocked at the end, like what happened. I was like, oh my god, this just happened. So that is
Ooh.
my top pick.
Wow. Okay. So, Tabrisha, I will confess, I have not read this book. I have not read any of Stewart's books. He is a new author to me. So I am just I'm fascinated and flabbergasted that this is your top pick because sometimes, when I follow Tabrisha compulsively on Instagram, and so many of Bridget's book were aligned. I'm like, I love, so many of your book books. I'm like, we're vibing. And I'm like, Stuart from the rear, didn't see him coming. Oh my gosh. And I never read the Evelyn Hardcastle book either. So this is just so cool. So I just grabbed the link I think when you say though that you read this book a year ago and you cannot stop thinking about it, that is high praise. Oh, Robin says that was a crazy cool book. Robin,
Thank
high praise here. And she says, hello from sunny Spokane. Hello to you from sunny Spokane,
Hello.
Robin. Okay, so we have two people, okay, vibing with this. If anybody wants to grab the book, here is the link to grab The Last Murder at the End of the World by Stuart Turton. Okay, cool. All right, Tabrisha, what's next? What you got in the bag?
So I can't not mention a spooky pick without one of my favorite authors, The Mysterious Case of the Alliston Angels by Janice Hallett. Sarah knows this.
Yes.
I absolutely love Janice Hallett.
Yeah, see, we're vibing. So this is This is exactly. So I love Janice Hallett too. I interviewed her when the Mysterious Case of the Appleton Angels came out, and for several of our other books, which have also been top picks for Tabrizia. So we're all is well with the world. We're vibing again. What
So
did
yes,
you love about this book, Tabrizia? Why did this book pop to you? I know you love British authors, but what else about this book pop?
so it still has a Janice Hallett formula where you have it's like epistolary format, but with text messages and transcripts. But what I really love about this one is it's like it really makes you think about human nature. Like how far would you go as a person to go for a story, or how far you would go to protect someone. And the way that she just approached this, it was just very enticing and engaging. I read this during one of my vacations, and even while I was on vacation, I couldn't put it down. I wanted to rush back to the hotel room to read it because I was like, "What's going to happen next?" And when I found out what was happening, I was like, how did she do this? Like, how did she come up with this? She's always very surprising. I'm never bored with any of Janice Hallett's books. So and with this one, it deals with a cult. So that's always very spooky and interesting. And it's also a great read for people who enjoy true documentaries or true crime podcasts. So it has everything for you. So yeah, the mysterious case of the Albertine Angels is a great mystery read.
Yes, and I think to Bridget, what you're bringing up about how Janice uses text messages and transcriptions in another book she did voicemail transcript voice note transcriptions. That was really cool. She does cool stuff like that, and I think that is really fun. And I will say, I mean, you and I both read a lot of mysteries and thrillers. I did not see this ending coming. I was like, what? And I actually went back because I was like, how did I miss that? And then I was like, my eyes were wide open, but I wasn't picking up what she was putting down. She got me good. So
I She really did because I was like, how? Because I asked her, it's like, how did you come up with that? And she's like, just came up. Like I came out of nowhere. She's like, she's just very like surprising and twisty, and she just plans it so intricately that she just really gets has her readers at the edge of their seat.
well said. I love that book. I've had her on a couple times, and I know you're an Anglophile. You love all things British, not just British mysteries, but all things British. Tabrisha goes to England like twice a year. She can't
I
get enough
do.
of that cold, rainy weather. But I think that is such a great pick. I love that. I love that. Oh my gosh.
Mhm.
Okay. So for anyone who's interested in grabbing a copy of The Mysterious Case of the Alberton Angels by Janice Hallett, here is that link. Whether you're watching with us on Facebook or YouTube, grab your copy from our favorite woman-owned independent bookstore. Tabrisha, what's next on that list of yours?
So, still keeping with British authors, we have The Kill List by Nadine Matheson. um,
I love Nadine Matheson.
I love Nadine Matheson.
Okay.
She's hilarious. You could talk with her all day, and she's just such an amazing writer. So The Kill List. This is a British cover, um, but the American cover looks absolutely beautiful as well. This is the third book in her Inspector Angelica Henley series. So I do advise that if you want to start jumping in, you probably should read the first book, The Jigsaw Man. That's also perfect for the spooky season. But The Kill List, this was just really just another great installment of the series. So you find Inspector Henley has to be on the race of a serial killer that they thought was in jail, was convicted of the crime, and then they discovered new evidence and that the crime was never solved. So they have to go on the list where this serial killer has a new list, a new kill list, and then it's like another cat and mouse game of trying to figure out who is the real serial killer of these crimes.
And
It is. Oh, go ahead.
Did you? So I interviewed Nadine for her first book in the series, The Jigsaw Man, kicking off Detective Inspector DI Angelica. Now, then I had her back for book two in the series, The Binding Room. What did you think of The Binding Room?
I love the Binding
I
Room.
love the
It was,
Binding. I just love Nadine, and I love
yeah,
this. I mean, I feel like I'm friends with. I feel like I'd be friends with, her character and her if she was here. And I cannot get enough of the series. And so here's links to the past two interviews. And for book three, which I have not read yet, and I need to catch up because I just love her style of writing. I love a good police procedural, and I love this character. I love Henley.
I love Henley too, and this is like what I said to Nadine because I interviewed her for the third book for the Kill List. Like the reason why I keep going to Henley is because yes, she is a flawed character, but she is realistic. Like you can keep she makes mistakes, but you can keep rooting for her. She's not perfect, and but you can keep rooting for her. You can keep being interested in her story. You can have empathy for her. She's just a very in tune character that you don't see a lot in police procedurals, and I that's why I just love. I told Nadine, like, please tell me that there's more Angelica Henley stories. She's just, yeah, there's plenty more.
There's
Like,
plenty
thank you.
more. I love the cat and mouse. I love Henley. I mean, don't you just want to go to a pub and hang out with Henley? I feel like we'd be friends in real life. I feel like I'd give her the other half of the BFF bracelet.
Yes,
I mean, I just think she's so cool. And yes, and you're right. She's very, I mean, I found myself bristling when you said she was flawed. I was like, stop talking about my best friend like that. But but she's just so real and so
yes.
human. And I don't know. And I just love that Nadine is a barrister in real life, which just sounds so much cooler than lawyer, but is in fact a lawyer.
Yeah,
So
and that's what makes the series so real, is because she puts her experiences of being a barrister in the books, and you see
yes.
a little bit more in the Kill List because there is like more like legal documents. There's a couple of courtroom scenes, so you see that a little bit more in the Kill List, but you do see it in her two previous books, The Jigsaw Man and The Binding Room.
Yes, yes. Oh my God. Okay, totally. I love that. I love that real life detail. Oh my goodness. Okay, Tabrizia, let's pick number three. I'm dying to know.
So I don't have the book here, but it is The Gathering by C.J. Tudor.
Staying with the British theme, I see.
Yes, I am. So this one really surprised me
Ooh.
because I do not like books with vampires. I absolutely hate it. But what this with The Gathering, it is not just about vampires. It is just like a very it. You still have a good murder mystery, and you have Tudor's like very element style of horror and suspense, and she just does it so well that just gets you interested until the very end. I was shocked at the beginning. I mean, not the beginning. At the end, I just was really intrigued by it. It is really a perfect book for Halloween because yes, it does deal with vampires, but it's a different kind of vampires. This isn't your Twilight or True Blood vampires. These are vampires that can go into the daylight sometimes, and
Well,
they're not sparkly and.
right, they're not weird and creepy. It's like they coexist with the regular humans in
Hmm.
Alaska, and it's almost like sort of any, you know, different population of human. It just is like, oh, this is that kind of person, the vampiric, and I think, what was interesting, it made me think a lot about energy vampires because at first when you hear vampire, you're thinking Dracula, you're thinking, blood sucking tooth, fang, like
Yeah,
whatever. And honestly, I don't like vampire books either. I've never read a vampire book before this, but when you think about energy vampires, it's like, oh yeah, I do feel kind of drained after I talk to that person, I'm in that company of that person or whatever. And then she made it more, I don't know, mentally manageable.
yeah, and it just like and it also you forgot you were reading about vampires. It's just like
Yes.
it's like
Yes.
it popped up, or it was just like a creature that was just sucking people's blood, and you didn't connect.
Yeah.
It's like it's a vampire. It's like, oh, okay, I forgot that I was reading about it. It just like it was just very entertaining and
Yes.
suspenseful, and just
Yes.
it had that Tudor style of like leaving chills down your spine. It was just like a very good read.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, and it was so fun because I hosted CJ for this book. I also hosted CJ for her last book, The Drift, which was also a Tabrizia Best Book of the Year
yeah,
because we were vibing again. And then even another fun fact, Tabrizia and I met for the first time ever when I hosted CJ on her American book tour for her last book, The Drift, and that's where you and I first connected and
yeah,
just sort of hit it off
yeah.
and became besties from there.
Yeah.
So I love that she once again that CJ Kaz, as they say, is
Yeah.
is once again making your top list. Elizabeth, welcome to the conversation, saying the snowy gray setting in Alaska definitely contributed to the dreary atmosphere in The Gathering. Well said, Elizabeth. And I see that your profile picture is in fact snow-covered daffodils. So very on brand there. But that's so true though, because you felt that cold, dreary gray winter, like, oh, you felt the heaviness of the atmospheric setting.
Mhm.
So well, great point, Elizabeth. Thank you for that. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness. Okay, Tabrizia, give us pick number 4. Tabby, pick number 4.
Okay, so this is going to be, before I get into the classics, this is going to be my last contemporary one. It is titled The Corset, but in the
Ooh,
US, it's titled The Poison Thread. So this is a great pick for readers who want a gothic, supernatural Victorian mystery.
ooh.
Um, so, and I don't know if she's watching, but my co-host for Dueling Detectives, Adina, she hates this book.
I love when you guys disagree. I live for it. Fight, 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 fight.
I constantly tease her about this book because there is a scene that she says has scarred her for life. And I don't want to get into the scene because I want people to read it, because this is a very, it's like a perfect supernatural horror ghost story. So you have this woman, Ruth, who is being tried for who's in prison and tried for murder. But she claims that she has this superpower, that everything she sews in her thread and she gives it to that person dies.
Ooh.
So it is a very interesting concept. And what Laura Purcell does so well with this book and her other books, she has written a lot of many ghost stories, is
Ooh.
that she has created like a very great ambiance of horror and suspense, and a very great gothic storytelling that you don't see a lot in contemporary writers when they write gothic Victorian stories.
Mm.
So anytime that someone says like, I want a great spooky Halloween story, this is one of my go-tos, because I read it, the first time I read it was during the Halloween season, and I absolutely loved it. I couldn't get enough of it, minus Adina, but it was just like, it is absolutely a great book. You will just find, and also the audiobook for this and for American publishing is really good as well. The narrators really capture the suspenseful and the gothicness of the story. So I always like a really great sucker for gothic Victorian storytelling, and this is just like always my top pick.
This is one I've never heard of this book. I've never heard of this author. I'm now wondering if I live under a rock. This one is brand new to me. And so I am, but I love Victorian. I love Gothic. I like horror light. If it's gory, it's a no for me. But I don't like gratuitous gore, but I do like the ones that are sort of ghosty horror.
So there is, like I said, there is a scene, and I don't want to get into
Oh, is
it.
that the scene? Okay, okay. That was
Yeah,
That was the Tabrizia Adina split.
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
But I mean, apart from that, it was just very. It just like it does have that ghost gothic kind of story, but you just
Okay.
really and the ending floored me. It was like the ending just like came out of
Ooh.
nowhere, and I also like to say it's like kind of like a feminist novel because it has a kind of feminist ending, but yes, readers really need to give this a try. I don't think the Poison Thread gets a lot of attention in the U.S. It just it really, a lot of readers would, I feel like, would highly enjoy it.
And I'm interested that they called it the corset in England. Elizabeth saying, I am writing it down now. Me too, Elizabeth. Okay, I'm gonna read it too, and then we can discuss more because I'm like, wow, this one's out of left field, but I'm loving what I'm hearing. I always love Tabrizia's picks. They're so thoughtful, they're so insightful. And here is the link to order that book from Murder by the Book. Now, when I asked you, Tabrizia, to come on as as someone who has her finger on the pulse of the mystery, thriller, horror, genre, who literally reads books for a living, who curates books for a living. I mean, you live and breathe books. And so I said, what are your, it's middle of September. We're staring down the spooky season in the face. And I said, what are your top picks? And you said there you have some contemporary books, but you also have some classics that you turn to time and again. And I was fascinated to hear that. What are your favorite classics?
So this is my favorite mystery of all time. I can read as many contemporary books as I can, and this mystery will always be my favorite of all time.
Oh my God,
And
I'm on
that
the edge
is
of my seat.
And Then There Were None by Agatha Christie.
Yay! Okay, okay. I have never read it. Tell me
What?
why you love this book.
Oh my god! Oh, when I first saw this, I have to credit my co-host Adina. She told me because this is her favorite book too. She told me that I have to read it, and I read this in 2 days. I was in a hotel room, and I really thought a killer was going to come into my hotel room and come after me because I was like, I don't know how are these people dying? How are these people dying?
Oh my
Um,
God.
it Every contemporary author has done this formula of like an isolated setting and people are being killed one by one. Agatha Christie, even though some have done it well, some have not done it so well, but the original is always the best. And the way that Agatha Christie has created this ambiance of just like unsettlement and like also creating a supernatural feel, just like you don't see the ending coming. It's just like it was just really intriguing and
Mm,
intricately plotted, and it was just so beautifully done. There is no other mystery novel that has done it this well, and that's why it's just like this is one of my favorite mysteries of all time because it's just that one classic that I feel like everyone should read. And if you're a big mystery fan, you definitely need to read this one because a lot of mystery writers do try to copy the formula, but they don't quite get it because Agatha Christie was just like the queen. There's a reason why she is called the Queen of Mystery because she just does it so well.
and I think what's so interesting is that, I started Mystery and Thriller Mavens 4.5 years ago. In the past 4.5 years, I've done over 400 interviews and so many authors from Ruth Ware to, I mean, who is a number one New York Times bestselling author, every single book, when she did her snow skiing book, I'm now blanking on the
One
name,
by one,
one by
one
one.
by one.
She
Hmm.
said this was an homage. She's a British mystery writer. She grew up on Agatha Christie. She had to try her hand at a locked room mystery. And I've heard that over and over and over again from many of the authors that I've interviewed. And so to take it back to, the original The Queen, and she probably wrote that book almost 100 years ago. It has stood the test of time. I love this.
Yeah,
Um,
it's
and
just like yeah.
for those who would like to get their mitts on it, and I am going to be one of those folks, here is the link to grab your copy of this classic, which Tabrizia has declared is her favorite mystery book of all time. So here is that link.
Yeah.
Tabrizia, what's your next favorite classic?
I have Frankenstein
I've
by Mary
never
Shelley.
read it.
Oh my god! You need to get reading
I need to
it.
get reading it. What do you love about this book?
So I first read Frankenstein when I was in high school, and
Okay.
I was amazed at a couple of things. Like one, that Mary Shelley wrote this in a night, and also when she was a teenager. So, and what I also what I really love about this book is like it is not about like what we think what Frankenstein is like is this green black-headed monster terrorizing. That's not Frankenstein. That's the monster. But with this one, it's just like it deals with the human mind, like how we can be have so much hubris that we think that we can play God and we can take and create something that we don't really have the power of creation to do. And I think Mary Shelley just goes deep inside the human mind, which can be the scariest thing of all time. That what we think that we can do, that what we really can't. And this is just one of my favorite books, my favorite classics. I've read it a couple of times and I still absolutely love it. I've seen plays of it and it's just like it is a very great spooky read, not only because of the creature, but also Victor Frankenstein, because honestly I see him as the monster because he's the one who just thought, hey, I could do this, let me try, even though I'm just going to throw out this monster because it didn't turn out the way that I wanted it to. And it just like it really poignant and relevant to our society even today. And yeah, this is just it is just a really great classic read. It really highlights Mary Shelley's talent. It's kind of sad that we didn't get to see more of it. But yeah, if you never had a chance to read Frankenstein, this is now is the time to do it.
Thank you, Tabrisha. Robin saying, Sarah, you are not alone. Okay, thank you, Robin, because I was starting to feel like a real loser over here, like a major loser. So thank you. She says, Sarah, you are not alone. I haven't read any either. Agatha Christie. I haven't read any Agatha Christie that I remember. Okay. Thank you, Robin. You and me. Sharon, welcome to the conversation. Late to the party, but hello, you're never late. You're fashionably late. You're just on time. We are talking spooky season picks. Sabrina's taking us back to the classics, and I am 0 for 2. I have not read and then there were none, and I have not read Frankenstein. So I'll be sitting in the corner with the dunce cap and Sabrina, tell us what's next.
So next up we have lot number 249
Ooh.
by Arthur Conan Doyle.
Oh, so Sherlock Holmes guy.
Yes.
Okay, tell us about it.
So this is a short story. So Arthur Conan Doyle is famous for Sherlock Holmes, but he did write a whole bunch of other stories, short stories, and lot number 249. It is a mixture of he was very fascinated with magic and the supernatural.
What?
And
I didn't
yeah,
know this.
yeah, he
In
was
real life, this
in
author.
real life. Yeah, he was very fascinated. He was friends with Houdini because he really wanted to get into the world of magic, but then they had a falling out because I think Houdini was trying to debunk a lot of his tricks. And Doyle didn't appreciate that. So this goes into that realm of supernatural with a secret, like a magical, like relic that is in this locker, and like a lot of people are trying to stay away from it because it might be haunted or cursed. I most of the stories I've read by Doyle were of course Sherlock Holmes. This was the first short story that I've ever read that was not in the Holmes sphere, and I absolutely loved it. This is like in the lines of Frankensteins. Like maybe sometimes there are things that we just need to leave alone. That maybe we don't need to trouble it. Don't it's not we don't have to deal with it, but it's like the scary thought of the human mind, like how far we will go to find out the truth. And that is why this is a book that I haven't read it in a while, but it is a story that I still think about, and I will probably reread it later on since I'm talking about it again. But yeah, because when it was like coming up with the list, I was like, I need to reread this story because I absolutely enjoyed it.
Ooh.
So yeah, if you're a fan of Sherlock Holmes and you want to read more Doyle stuff, this is a great short story to check out. It really just shows his writing style of something other than detective fiction, and also really diving into his interest of the supernatural
Ooh.
and a magical realism.
Robin is saying, now I do own a beautiful annotated copy of Frankenstein. Have I read it? No, but it is signed to me by Leslie Klinger, who did the annotation. Beautiful book. Oh my gosh, that sounds beautiful, Robin. I love that. Thank you. Now, for anyone who wants to grab a copy of Lot 249 by author Conan Doyle, here is that link. Tabrizia, tell us what's next in your bag of tricks.
So I have not a British book, but an American classic,
Ooh.
um, The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by
Ooh.
Washington Irving. So this is a collection. This is not the thickness of The Legend of Sleepy Hollow. It is a novella. It's a couple of pages. It's a collection of his short stories. But The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, we all know the story of the Headless Horseman. You've seen it many times depicted. It is great to read the original short story because you kind of wonder, like, how did Washington Irving come up with this? And I love the actual village of Sleepy Hollow. I always go there to visit during any time of the
Because
year, but also
it's a real place. I mean,
it
do
is a
people
real
know
place.
this is a real place? People actually choose to live there. I would not because I'm afraid of headless horsemen, but people do.
I mean, you will have a fun time because when it like during this time, this is their tourist season because they go all out. They have the Headless Horseman hayride, the haunted hayride. They have the statue. They have so many events celebrating the story that Washington Irving created. And also you can see the bridge where Ichabod Crane meets the Headless Horseman, and you kind of feel that like eerie kind of atmosphere. It's like maybe
You
there
went
is
on the
something here.
bridge. You
Yeah.
stepped on the bridge.
So the bridge has been destroyed,
Okay.
so now it's a road. But you can see like the atmosphere. It's when you go there at night, it's really I'm telling you, Sleepy Hollow is really dark at night and very misty during late October and early November. I don't know. I feel like Washington Irving was on something. He felt that there was some like a supernatural essence within Sleepy Hollow, but not tearing down Sleepy Hollow. It is a lovely village. Everyone should go. It's a great village, but with the Legend of Sleepy Hollow, it is a great Halloween story. But it's also like a really great take of an urban legend of like, and can we actually believe all the urban legends that we believe? Because that was the same with Ichabod Crane, because he didn't believe it. He thought it was a joke.
And we know
But
what
then
happened to him. So,
yep, exactly.
so
Oh,
where is this real place, Tabrizia?
so it is in Hudson Valley, New York. So if you live in New York City, you can take the Metro North to and the Hudson Line, and you can take it to Tarrytown. So you take it to Tarrytown, and it's just like about a couple of blocks away to Sleepy
Yay.
Hollow.
Well, for all of those who are braver than me, you can make a pilgrimage and report back. And I will be here, safely huddled inside waiting to hear. Tabrisha, what is your fifth and final classic book pick for us?
Um. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I have a fifth one?
You did. I think it's Queen Shirley.
Oh, thank you. Oh my God, so many books. So many. We have always lived in a castle by Shirley Jackson. Um, so I know a lot of people think of The Haunting of Hill House, which is a great book, but I think, and that is also spooky, but I feel like which is more spookier is We Have Always Lived in a Castle.
Ooh.
You have a very creepy Victorian house, but it doesn't take place in Victorian times. I want to say it takes place in like 19, well, I think it was like contemporary time for when Shirley Jackson wrote it. But I feel like with We Have Always Lived in a Castle, this one really shows Jackson's writing style and her way of just really digging deep in the human mind and wanting to scare people with it. She has no qualm for trying to scare people, just diving into it and just showing that fear to the readers and also to the characters, because you feel like the characters' fears is being shown on the pages. But for this one, We Have Always Lived in a Castle, it's just like a very enlightening and just like suspenseful, and the ending really creeps me out. It has something like, I don't want to give anything away. It has creepy children, and creepy children freak me out.
They are, yeah, that is terrifying. Um, Robin is saying, is Sarah, oh, I should go during the day to Sleepy Hollow. You will probably love it. Let us know. Post pictures too. It's my new mission. Oh, Robin's giving me a mission. But I feel like if we're going to really do this, it should be Tabrisha. She should go at midnight under a full moon.
I have. I have. And I'm
Okay,
here.
Tabrisha, you are braver than I will ever be. Oh my God. She's like, I'm here. She's like, oh, I'm going on, Halloween night at midnight with a candle and a horse. And I'm just going to call forth the
I've
headless
been
horse.
to 3 haunted houses in Sleepy Hollow, and I'm still here.
Why would you say that? You just jinxed yourself. You're like, I'm still here. I'm still here. That's inviting it. You literally just summoned it. Stay back. Stay back. Oh my God. Oh, Robin. Okay, I'll try to accept your mission, Robin, but I am terrified. But I will try to do it. If Tabrisha has survived 3 haunted houses in Sleepy Hollow, maybe I can go during the day. Maybe. I'll report back. Oh my God. But Tabrisha is clearly a braver soul than I will be. Sharon is saying children can be creepy, LOL.
Yes, we
Robin
have.
saying, no, Tabrisha, you are crazy. Crazy like a fox. She's out there. Oh my goodness. Yes. She's doing it for all of us. Oh my gosh. Beth, welcome to the conversation. Jolene, thanks for coming. You guys, for anyone who wants to check out what Tabrisha describes as creepier than The Haunting of Hill House, here is the link. We Have Always Lived in a Castle by Shirley Jackson. Here is that link. Oh my goodness. Well, these have been so incredible. Now, Tabrisha, for those who like YA, Tabrisha is going to share on her social media her 5 YA spooky book season picks. I'm going to reshare them on my social media as well, because we are out of time. Time flies when you're having this much fun. We have so many books. So I could talk to Tabrisha all night. We could just hang out and talk books all night. But I am also getting a message from Dr. Ian Smith. I found him. So for those who logged on an hour ago, I have located Detective DeVello reporting for duty. I have located Dr. Ian Smith, and we will be back at the top of the hour with him. Sharon saying, I'm with you, Sarah. I don't like the haunted houses, but I do love haunted house movies. Ooh, interesting. From the safety of her home, Sharon likes them. Oh my gosh, exactly. Yes. I don't even know if I'm that brave.
I pushed someone. I'm ashamed to say I did push my friend in in the direction of the monster. I was like, "Take them," and I ran out.
Okay, one clarifying moment. I thought you were going to say you pushed her. like out a window. like,
No.
like I pushed my friend. I didn't know where that was going, Tabrisha. Off a balcony, out a window, down the stairs, into traffic. I didn't know. I didn't know.
No, I put like there was a monster, the actor, they were scared of, and he had like a chainsaw. So I pushed her into the way of the chainsaw man, and I ran out. Like
Note
you can
to
take
self:
her.
do not go to haunted house with Tabrisha ever.
Probably not.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Elizabeth saying confessions. Exactly, Elizabeth. Robin saying, I love when Tabrisha comes to visit. It is always such a great time. Thank you so much, both of you. It is always such a great time. Tabrisha, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your spooky season picks. It is always such a pleasure to have you, and I cannot wait to have you back again next time.
Yes, thank you so much, Sarah, and thank you, everyone. I love coming on here and talking about talking about my picks. I hope you have a fun time reading them.
Yay. Teresa, your picks are always so great. Thank you so much. It's always so much fun to chat with you. Thank you all of you for spending your Mystery Monday with us. And we're going to take a brief intermission, and I'll be back at the top of the hour with Dr. Ian, 2 hours late, but he's coming in hot. So stay tuned. Then he's going to give us the inside scoop on his latest in the Ash Kane series, Eagle Rock. Tabrisha, thank you so much. Happy Halloween. Happy spooky season. We'll be in touch soon.
Yeah. Bye.